All right, so let's go ahead and shift ourselves to Game 3. We're guaranteed a Game 4, folks, so plenty more Smite coming at you, which is always exciting. This has been an incredible series. It shows NRG's resilience more than anything else and why this team has been so dominant throughout the season. But now, as we get ready for game number 3 between Luminosity and NRG, let's see what we have first here from the ban phase for Luminosity.
I'll be pretty curious to see if they let through the Jing Wei again. You know, the first game, BaRRaCCuDDa, I mean, both games, honestly, BaRRaCCuDDa's done an amazing job on that Jing Wei, but at the same time, they just beat it. So do they want to let him kind of have that easy road for BaRRa, or are they going to take it away from him?
Well, if you're going to take away the Jing Wei and you're targeting BaRRaCCuDDa, you might as well find a way to take away the solo as well. Those are the two options that he heavily relies on. But Luminosity, though, they are expecting more of the same style that Obey was showing us, which was the Nike for Captain Twig and Zeus for Pretty Prime because of the scrim partner. But yet, look at this, Jing Wei off the table.
The Jing Wei ban has come through. They've decided, you know what, even though we can beat it, it's still utter nonsense. We want to take that off the table. But that means you're going to give JeffHindla Terra.
But we saw the earlier best of 5 set where Terra wasn't doing that much.
Yes, but now, Terra was being played in the solo lane.
That's
not,
true.
Not
that's
in the
true,
Guardian.
but there were counters that
yes.
they found by using the cripples from Poseidon, the cripples from Erlang Shen, just to prevent the dashes from Terra. And I'm expecting maybe NRG will go the same option.
Yeah, I really like, while I left there's the raw pick, of course, because if one team's got healing, you got to make sure you have healing. Otherwise, you're going to lose that sustained battle every single time. You're going to get poked out and not be able to do it. But just like you mentioned earlier, NRG picked up that soul immediately. It looks like they might have actually baited them into the Terra, take the Jing Wei off the table so they could get the soul.
There's definitely a different style between regions. North America and Europe heavily rely on different picks. You know, Nike is heavily favored for Europe, whereas Terra is definitely favored more on the North American side, and it feels like NRG knows how to deal with it. Amaterasu and Nua, yet again, we saw game 1 what Scary D was able to do with Amaterasu once he got to the later stages of the game.
Both of these compositions so far feeling very much, Luminosity loves what they've got right now. NRG, of course, loves what they got right now. They're both very happy with their drafts. I love seeing the Nua again for Luminosity. Honestly, it's been working really well for them. This has probably been one of the better games for Xenotronics that we've seen in a long time. If it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Absolutely. He's going to be very safe on this new one. Like we mentioned before, the ways to counter Terra, you got the Erlang Shen. You can find the taunt into the root cripple combination, and that should give enough time for NRG to find an early kill, preventing Terra from dashing away.
I'm glad they went for that Mercury ban, NRG, because we saw what happened in that game 1 with Mercury and how Ra really just could not handle with him. The speed from Mercury was insane.
We're seeing iRaffer play these very, very defensive supports right now, picking the Geb last game, going for the Khepri now. He's relying on his team. He's just going extremely aggressive, and he's going to be the one peeling for him.
And Luminosity expected this because the fact that they banned Sylvanas, but you can't ban all of those Guardians at that phase. You have Sylvanas, Khepri, and Geb, but now Luminosity sticking to the Ratatoskr for Mask. It's going to be interesting to see what kind of global pressure between this Terra, Nua, and Ratatoskr can disrupt NRG.
Hopefully they look for some early ganks onto the Ra. We saw NRG be a little bit shaky with the Ra earlier today, and so if they can put more pressure on the Yammyn, maybe get him a little bit scared, just like he was last game. He's like, not a repeat game.
Well, you got a lot of setup between the Khepri and the Erlang Shen, and we hear the VEL coming out of Rama as it gets locked in for BaRRaCCuDDa. A great late game hunter option.
Rama, one of the strongest characters really throughout the game. He's one of the most evenly distributed characters, has early game lane clear, great mid-game fights, and one of the best late game hybrid characters.
I don't think the Morgan's out yet, so that's a correction there, folks. It's actually Fenrir for NRG. Okay, so now that we have this set up here, I mean, this looks like on paper a good draft for Luminosity. I like this a lot, but NRG, always NRG, man. What do you guys think? Quick.
The Ra and Khepri, too much sustain. NRG should be able to get their second win here.
If LG builds some anti-sustain, I think they've got a good shot at this one.
All right, folks, here we go. It's time for game number 3. Is a lot on the line. Who will go up 2-1 in the series? It's time to send it over to your commentators. Take it away.
Thank you, analysts. We have got ourselves a set here, 1-1 tied between LG and NRG. Luminosity not even really supposed to be here.
I mean...
You're the team that brought it.
Yeah, it's all on you, man. You're the one who allowed LG to make it.
Nah, I mean, they shouldn't have been here overall, but they deserve it.
For
From
how
what
they've
we've
played.
seen here at Worlds, they absolutely deserve it. And just be able to play up against a team like NRG, even if they don't go to the finals, they've still done a great job so far.
Clearly just world-class, you know, across the board. ScariD, though, back on is very comfortable Amaterasu, and this is what's really good about LG as well, with Ratatoskr coming into ScariD's God pool, is now this is a God that LG can pick up early in a draft and be very dynamic with.
And I like the adaptation from NRG. Even though they did win the last game, they still banned the Xingwei away from BaRRaCCuDDa because he was a huge problem last game as well. So now he's on the Rama. Let's see what he can do in that one.
Well, we've seen his Rama play previously, you know, in the group stages, essentially carried his team to victory against Noble Esports. You know, maybe he's looking to do the same thing again.
BaRRaCCuDDa and Ram, you know, one of the hardest hyper carries in the game. Also, something that's really, I think, unseen a lot of is when Ram's actually ult early into the fights, and you look at this lineup from NRG, it's really about lots of sustain. They want to have long, extended team fights. The heal from Dimi, adapting, probably going to go a hybrid tanky build again. You can see with those boots, Yammyn's heals, Raffer's ultimate, emilitoo as well with Disapparate.
And we see everybody from Luminosity right now starting on the left side. That's gonna make Able in it. That's gonna.
Whoa.
You go.
Yeah.
I'm done.
JeffHindla, yeah, I mean, 5 members. You can see the invade on the left-hand side. This is going to allow NRG to just get a ton of free farm on the left. Also, they're not going to be able to soak up that first wave unless they rotate quicker.
JeffHindla with a red buff is scary. He might be on a Terra, but he's got a red buff.
Right now, Luminosity is leaving all the right side. That's gonna be.
Yeah, just look at this. There's the teleport. Trix is so triggered. He's like, they're gonna lose so much, but actually ScariD does manage to teleport in. This is an interesting strategy. Not anything we've seen just yet. This is something that LG clearly had planned. And BaRRaCCuDDa taking this boxing match against emilitoo.
He's going to be able to just walk away. I think Trix is actually triggered because his team never gives him the red buff.
Right.
He's like, I'm Bacchus. I play Bacchus. I want to fight. Give me the red buff.
He's like, I have to go and invade their red buff to get it.
Support carries the only way.
ScariD getting poked out on the right-hand side, though, and that is one thing that happened. Obviously, ScariD not missing a wave on the right-hand side, but he wasn't able to contest the first, which means it got pushed under tower, gave Dimi a lot of time to look for that poke, and now ScariD's going to have a little bit of trouble because he has no TP for another 135 seconds. If he gets poked out, and I'd actually really like to see adapting rotate over, he doesn't actually need to kill ScariD, he just needs to force him back and make him walk back to lane without that TP.
Right, and I love the pickup from iRaffer, picking up the Teleria boots again, because there is all that fighting early, so getting all the gold from the Teleria boots and then going back get the Watchers is just a great move.
What else does Khepri contribute to your team?
Overall, it's just a great peeling and keeping your mid laner alive. You have a rod, they are going to try to dive him down, so whenever they do that, you have the Khepri to be able to revive again, and then you can heal up.
LG's really going to have to focus on burst in this game. I mean, unless they can snowball a lead. Obviously, they have basically triple globals coming out. Xenotronics is going to be able to hit everyone. Masked with a half global. BaRRaCCuDDa can take to the sky with his half global as well. And then JeffHindla, I mean, that buff is going to be huge. And you can see already LG rotating to the right-hand side.
But NRG have a really good team fight combo overall. If they're all stacked up, the globals coming out from Luminosity is going to be so useless.
Mid lane here. 3 men of NRG just farming up the mid wave, getting some gold and experience here. JeffHindla still level 3. He's over in the solo side. Dimi taking some damage here, but he's going to be all right with this. He's fighting 2v1.
Big rotation. Dimi 2-man taunt. Adapting jumps over. ScariD trying to send out members. Does get a 3-man stun, allowing JeffHindla to get away. ScariD's pinned out, but NRG can't chase him.
And that was just straight out a bait from Dimi. He knew he wouldn't win that fight 2v1, but he just went in it because he knew his team was coming. And they get the fire creeps, and good lead.
And dazzling offense there, stunning all 3. Perfect positioning by ScariD, lining all of NRG up, and then allowing JeffHindla to escape. That should have been first blood.
Again, we see adapting going this tank boot start. Do you think he's going for a more bruisery style yet again?
It's possible, and you know, that's what kind of Fenrir has developed into. You very rarely see the assassin style. A lot of time he's almost a pseudo initiator, where when a support is not strong enough early, for example, a Gep without a blink, or someone who doesn't have defensive items online early enough and is going to get blown up. You just have the Fenrir go in because not only does he have that hard engage with the stun when he has all 5 of his runes stacked up, but also he has so many ways to get out if he just takes too much damage.
And Fenrir is just a great beat forcer, so usually you want to go full cooldown reduction and just keep getting that ult off so you force the beats all the time.
Right-hand side mid camp's being contested between Xenotronics and Adapting. iRaffer is going to rotate through here. Should be able to secure this one for NRG. Adapting jumps there.
And JeffHindla actually picking up the hog is really great because Terra is so bad in the early game versus a Khepri, so getting that extra control in the jungle is so good.
And I mean, we saw him utilize that on the invade when they rotated all 5 members to the left-hand side. And LG do actually have a gold lead off of that so far, about 500. ScariD dashes into the tower with Adapting right behind him. Nice dazzling offense, perfectly timed not to get taunted out by Dimi.
Great ult by ScariD just before the taunt coming out from Dimi. He's been doing so good right now, and you also see how comfortable he is in Amaterasu, taking it before the third ban. I mean, he must be really comfortable on it.
The duo lane we haven't really talked about much this game, and in fact in the previous games really it's just been BaRRaCCuDDa forcing waves under the tower. This game, Rama against Soul, a little bit less favorable perhaps?
Much less favorable. Yeah, I mean, Soul should be able to dominate this early and just farm up, but Rom's not that bad, and really it's just about this farming the late game. Raffer caught out, but he does have a heal from Yammyn, so nothing gonna happen just yet, and BaRRaCCuDDa's fine with that. I mean, once Rom gets to late game, once he gets crit online, he does so much damage.
And at this point, I feel like NRG is just going to look for the lockdown with the Khepri and into the Ra snipe. They have so much beat forcing coming out of Khepri and Fenrir. They need to force the beat and then start looking for the pick.
And that's not even talking about Erlang as well. NRG are probably going to be playing this pick style, like you said, really just rotating these 3 setup carries around Yammyn at all points of the game and just looking to burst players.
Oh yeah, definitely feel like if NRG is using the heals properly in the team fight, they are going to win the 5v5 fight overall.
Oh, Xeno caught by himself. Good juke there inside his own fog, but he is going to get picked there just a little bit, forced to purify.
And that's what you were just talking about, forcing the beats with these abilities.
And we're soon...
Oh, Mask. Oh, whiffed completely.
But he forced the ult from Raffer.
Yeah, so Mask whiffed, but Raffer burns his ult anyway. ScariD again going aggressive on Dimi, but it's adapting around the corner. Silence out of the Brutalize, but there's the ultimate. And Xenotronics Fire Shard's not going to be enough to answer back to Dimi.
And meanwhile, they're fighting in the mid lane. They even forced the beats without adapting, and now he got a kill in the solo lane as well. When Adapting's ult is going to be up again, he's going to be looking for Xenotronic, and he will be dead.
Is Yammyn going to snipe this? Nah, just going to save it. And so we do see snipes actually come out of mid lane Raws all the time to try and contest mid Harpies, since snowballing that can become critical, but I feel like they're really just looking for kills.
I think Yammyn was looking for it, but overall he didn't have the vision, so he didn't want to waste his ult basically, so just said whatever.
Speed buff here just going to be taken by Luminosity. First blood going the way of Adapting though, you know, last 2 games, we haven't seen him had the same sort of impact we're used to seeing from the Adapt King. How important is it to kind of get your momentum back going again?
I think it's really good for Adapting now, finally getting the first blood, getting a little bit of a lead versus Mast, and maybe we're going to see him take a more of a carry role than before, where he was the support role as Fenrir.
Adapting's been really quiet so far in this set, and you know, game 1, a lot of it was his team got so far behind on the Awilish that he couldn't really make any plays. Game 2, low damage, but he did a great job of transitioning into this team fight setup-oriented god, allowing iRaffer to kind of just farm up until he got that blink.
And Dimi just ulting ScariD off cooldown just to force his ult so the Fenrir can easily get that gank off.
It was good discipline there, though, by Scary, recognizing the situation that he didn't need to blow his ultimate in that time.
Oh, yeah, that was really good, because right now, Dimi's just looking for the fall, so Adapting can have an easy game wherever he wants to. Xenotronics beats is still down for 45 seconds, so I'm still looking at him and whether Adapting is going to look for a gank on him.
And yeah, and I mean, if I'm ScariD right now, I'm just sitting under my mid tower. I'm not trying to force anything. You can actually see Luminosity knows the exact style that NRG are looking for. Wards all across the map. They just need to hold out and not get picked off. This team, heading into late game, is phenomenal. You have Terra, just so much sustain, range stuns as well, very similar style to Erlang Shen. Amaterasu, one of the best gods at diving onto back lines, and then that new ultimate that just does so much AoE guaranteed damage.
Yeah, for NRG, they need to shut down the Xenotronic this time, and now when he's beat down, they should do that.
Oh, JeffHindla gonna be caught out here. Soaks up the Soul ultimate. It's another kill for NRG. 2 members of LG rotating in. Mask just off the mark, trying to get that knock up onto Adapting, who gets stunned out when he jumps forward. Raffer quick reaction time on the Scarab's Blessing. 1 ult to the sky, 2 shots looking for the third. BaRRa needs it, adapting over the wall.
Oh yeah, actually haven't talked about this. Even though Nuwa is bad against the Ra, it's super good against the Khepri because whenever you revive a squishy, the Nuwa will actually be able to kill the target.
Right-hand side, ScaryD and Dimi not even involved in that fight, just boxing around there. Mast, his ultimate, a little bit late there. It just seems like NRG weren't even looking for the Gold Fury, looking just to bait in LG.
Right, and this is NRG's tactic overall. They have the Fenrir, they want to start forcing things like the Gold Fury, see if anybody goes in, and then goes Fenrir.
ScaryD getting poked out here once again. You can see Witchblade being started for Dimi. That's going to come in big against that Rom later on. Same with Mast as well, who wants to kind of jump into that back line, get as many basic attacks off as possible.
And I'm not sure about ScaryD's pickup here about Breastplate. I would have loved to see the Witchblade because Erlang is overall based on his auto attack, so getting that Witchblade would have been a little bit better, I feel like.
Good against Fenrir and Soul as well. I mean, anti-attack speed is just so underutilized, but it's not always the best pure defensive options, and a lot of players really looking to survive that burst.
Talking about builders, where we're looking at BaRRaCCuDDa now, Shortbow on the side of him, you know, almost certainly going into an Iqval here early. You know, even though he's going against a magical ADC, you know, what else? Why is he going that route?
I mean, now I'm not an ADC, but what I've heard from Fumble is at least that Iqval is so strong in the early game, no matter what. Sweating that, getting that extra penetration is so good. So just getting that item early game is good against everything.
And oh, I love this from emilitoo as well, just blocking BaRRaCCuDDa off from the wave. BaRRaCCuDDa actually going to take the boxing match, but Disapparate doing so much and still getting hit by the Stellar Burst. But the Iqval, yeah, sure, you're not reducing the physical power of Soul, but you still get the positive benefits of getting bonus physical power.
And for the first time, we actually see emilitoo start outboxing BaRRaCCuDDa, so that might be a yellow trouble for Luminosity.
And you can see picking up that Celestial Legion helm as well, just so much physical protection. That makes it almost impossible for BaRRaCCuDDa to box him in this early game.
And NRG are looking for the wall control around the Gold Fury. They have the Raft, the heals to sustain the damage from the Gold Fury, so they want to look for it.
Oh, rotation from Mast again off the mark on his ultimate. emilitoo 1v2 actually outplaying Mast, is forced back, but here comes the rotation as well from JeffHindla. The rest of NRG right behind.
Adapting, chasing after JeffHindla here, just forcing him away. Now the Gold Fury being looked at here by NRG. Yammyn healing up his team.
3 ults burned by LG right now. NRG are going to try and force something, and it's actually catching ScaryD out. 4th ultimate burned by LG right now. NRG, they need to force this Gold Fury.
They can easily force this. They also have the Ra heals to sustain, so right now they should just be looking for that Gold Fury and force it. They still have the Fenrir ultimate, so they can easily get a pick.
Maybe playing it a little bit safe, though. Obviously, LG doing a great job at the objective control, and there it is. They're going to be rotating over right on top of the ward, and LG's going to have to defend this. BaRRaCCuDDa still does have his ultimate. Wrath on the side of Dimi.
It should be free here for NRG, but LG want to contest. ScaryD round the backside. Gold Fury still being tanked up here by Dimi. In goes Adapting, stuns out BaRRaCCuDDa. NRG gets a Gold Fury. ScaryD chunked to half HP. Snipe comes through from Yammyn, but only hits Mast. Revive onto Dimi. He doesn't even need it. It's just used to get away. JeffHindla falls to Adapting. He's chasing down ScaryD. Nowhere to run to for ScaryD. Oh, the beam through the wall just off the mark.
I really don't think LG should have contested that at all. They had JeffHindla with Wrath. If anything, you use BaRRaCCuDDa's ultimate and maybe steal it away if Raffer mistimes it, but they had burned so many ultimates in that fight, it was just almost impossible to fight into NRG, who have so much sustain.
I mean, yeah, you had JeffHindla with a Hog, but then again, Adapting just straight up ulted him, so he was CC'd for the whole time. They should not have fought that at all.
BaRRaCCuDDa, though, split pushing left-hand side in the meantime. He is going to back, and NRG now with a decent lead. We haven't really seen NRG able to string together a huge lead in any game in the early portions. Mast, oh, Raffer by himself, 1v2 right now, was just trying to steal the way from Dimi. Dimi was trying to back, but now he's going to rotate over, trying to help out his support. Raffer, oh, the knock-up. He should get picked up, though, eventually. Two-man root. Yo, there's no way.
Scary,
There's
please.
no way. There it is. Okay. All right. A little bit worried there.
And also, we've seen some really early ultimates coming out from iRaffer. He needs to really be careful with those. He needs to make sure that the damage coming out from Luminosity is when he's using the ultimate.
Speed buff going to be taken here by Luminosity. Pressure in the right-hand side for them there. I'm a little bit surprised that they didn't kind of commit to the tier 1 tower there.
Yeah, I mean, overall, one pick on iRaffer right now, he is really big, so getting that kill is just going to do great things for them.
And adapting, once again, 2-0 and 1 though. This time going for more of a damage-oriented build, not actually picking up that Void Shield, going for Jotuns and then straight into what I'm going to assume is a Brawler's Beat Stick.
Oh yeah, now we see him going a little bit more physical power, more than like the protection style, and that's because he want to carry this game. He want to win smoothly. He want to keep getting his snowball off and just stay in the game.
I mean, another thing about that too is this time iRaffer's on Khepri. Sure, it was a little bit the same last time with the Geb Shield, but being able to get that revive and pulled away from the team fight is huge. This is going to allow adapting the safety to try and make those dives like he did in Game 2 against Mast, and it's a lot safer to do so.
Right, I feel like Adapting's going to be really comfortable this game, just jumping in, doing whatever he wants because he knows he have the Khepri behind.
A big thing for me this game as well has been that emilitoo's had the pressure on the left-hand side. In the previous matches, BaRRaCCuDDa's been able to dictate the terms over on the left-hand side, but on the right, ScaryD getting bullied here by Adapting and Dimi. Perfect ultimate from Adapting. Here comes Mars crashing down. Adapting jumping away. ScaryD looking to turn it around onto Dimi. Two-man knock up there from the Erlang Shen. JeffHindla's here. No stun coming through.
Very good disengage coming out from NRG. They are realizing everybody was coming from Luminosity and just backing off, getting the heal up now, and now it's a 4v4.
And this is going to be impossible for LG to siege up because the Raw made the rotation. In the meantime, this is just allowing emilitoo to outbox BaRRaCCuDDa. Just the physical protections from his helm doing so much. BaRRaCCuDDa actually, he baited out the Soul Ult and then sat there into the Stellar Burst. You got to be careful with the BM.
Right.
Panda Like will tell you that.
Mid lane. Adapting, hanging around behind a wall here, perhaps looking for a pickoff. Two men over in the right-hand side. Adapting's just going to back away here. BaRRaCCuDDa still wanting to fight emilitoo.
This is so surprising to me because that's about the 4th or 5th time we've seen BaRRaCCuDDa rotate over to his boars just slightly, and then emilitoo just sits there waiting to get free poke off. Not able to secure any hits right there, but BaRRaCCuDDa has been almost putting himself in positions where he's forced back into his tower because he's taking so much poke, rotating back into the lane.
And BaRRaCCuDDa have actually got a lot of damage onto emilitoo's tower, so if we see a rotation coming to the left lane, maybe putting some pressure onto emilitoo so he's getting forced back, they can maybe get that tower and get some extra gold.
NRG clearing out wards here around the left-hand side. Again, keeping kind of pressure and control of this left-hand side around the gold tree at this stage of the game is just so important.
And you just want to make sure to try and get as much XP as you can all across the map with the invades, especially once you're ahead. You can see ScaryD actually continuously looking for the blue buff. Not going to be able to steal it away, but I really want to see Adapting make more plays. He's invested so much into the solo lane, but ScaryD has basically avoided or outplayed every single gank attempt. Adapting needs to realize that it's not successful looking for this Amaterasu and look for other targets. He had that one attempt onto Xeno, and it was great, baited out Purification, but that was it.
Right, he actually did get one good gank off, but now when ScaryD have gotten a lot of protection, he should not be looking for him. They won't be able to kill him, and he should be looking more at BaRRaCCuDDa and maybe getting this tower down.
It looks like there's going to be a push here from NRG onto the left-hand side. Yammyn around the wall as well. JeffHindla, a little bit of an awkward position here, knocked up by Dimi. Rafa misses the pluck, however, rooted in place by JeffHindla, but the tier 1 tower on the left-hand side falls.
And I love this from NRG. 5-man grouping up right now.
Yes.
emilitoo is huge. They have the Ra heal. This is a perfect call.
Luminosity, all 5 ults up. I'm assuming they're going to defend this tier 2. ScaryD rotating in from behind. Adapting, jumps to the back line, but he's got to escape out of the tower. ScaryD dazzling offense, stuns out too. Luminosity pushing forward. Yammyn's all completely whiffed. Soul's ultimate doing so much damage to JeffHindla. He's going to be the first picked off.
Oh, Dimi's got himself a double kill here. Mars forced to run away. Adapting around the side. BaRRaCCuDDa blocks the damage for his solo laner, but the heals coming out from Yammyn are enough to get his team back under this tower. BaRRa up in the sky. No, he's not. Denied by Adapting.
And to be honest, iRaffer didn't have to die there. He actually did his one on I don't know who, but he didn't get his ult off because of that. If he just ulted himself in that point, he wouldn't have died. Just a great team fight coming out from NRG.
And I love how they played it at the start. We saw Adapting rotate over, putting pressure onto BaRRaCCuDDa, and then we saw the rest of NRG actually sit in Luminosity's red buff. They find JeffHindla. All they were doing was making sure that LG wouldn't be able to rotate to defend that tower.
Yeah, NRG was so smart. They all backed off, so everybody turned on iRaffer. When everybody turns for the support, it makes so much free space for the carries to do whatever they want.
The decision-making just seems to have been a little bit off here by Luminosity, and especially Mars, he just hasn't had the impact in this game that he has had in previous ones.
No, but I also feel like Adapting have finally stepped up. He's doing such a great job right now, ganking right, mid, forcing beats, doing a really good job overall, just keeping the jungle control.
And this is the first time we've seen him with a real lead right now. 2 levels over Mast, 3-0 and 1. He's gone down into the guard boots, and no more of this frontline Fenrir. Outside of the guard boots, of course, he's got Yoans online, he's got Brawlers online, he has so much penetration, and he's just doing a lot of damage and able to just dive into the backline. Again, enabled by iRaffer. He's so comfortable because he knows iRaffer has that revive.
Well, ScariD knocked up into the damage from emilitoo. Dazzling offense comes out just to get himself out of trouble here, but now pressure being applied to the right-hand side by NRG, trying to set up around this fire giant, it seems, given that that's where their vision is.
And NRG just want to group up at this point and take everything down they can. They need all the gold they can have and then just go for the Phoenixes.
This has been the most disciplined game we've seen from NRG so far. Game 1 and 2, even though they won game 2, they just kept diving, overextending, mostly adapting, just kind of pushing himself or putting himself in awkward spots that made it hard for his team to follow up or kind of baited them inside. Now he's been much safer. He put a lot of attention onto the solo lane. He wasn't able to get any kills off of that, but at the very least, he didn't overcommit to anything.
Look at adapting right now on the red buff. They're just taking everything they can. They want to hold this lead and they want to win this game.
This is definitely the best game from adapting this set so far. So clean from him.
Probably all tournament as well. Like, we've noticed that NRG, you know, yesterday they were a little bit flat, not kind of the world championship caliber we've come to know and love.
Oh, to the sky goes Mask, gonna find a knockup onto Dimi. Dimi does have his ultimate. He's gonna find a taunt. No, it got interrupted, trying to get a heal, and actually a great job there zoning out. He needs the heal, he's got the Khepri revive, and he is off of those fire shards, gets pulled back to his back line.
Mask hunting for another kill here. Rafa in a little bit of trouble. Fire Giant actually doing damage to him. Rafa so much trouble, he dashes away. ScariD should get a kill. Mask got knocked up. ScariD forced to drop the kill. BaRRaCCuDDa though picks up Dimi.
Somehow Mask and iRaffer get out of there after getting knocked up by that fire giant. Made sense for iRaffer. He was body blocked by 2 players, but Mask just kind of seemed to get lost in that fight there.
Yeah, Luminosity just finding that good ping onto Dimi, and after that he can't really do anything. He can't take the damage, so he gets the kill. Very lucky by Luminosity that they get out alive, everybody, but just very lucky overall though.
We see now about a 7,000 goal disparity between these two teams, but still, LG managing to keep themselves in this one. Adapting, definitely going for the full carry kind of build here. 3 penetration on items online already.
Oh yeah, and this is also what we said about the global. They need to group up so they don't get picked. Dimi did get picked here. It was lucky by Luminosity, but still it was a pick. They need to group up again, siege down the towers, or even bait the fire giant. Just anything else than splitting up.
BaRRaCCuDDa, though, this whole time has just been able to free farm. You know, we saw him get a little bit behind because emilitoo went for that Celestial Legion helm, allowing him to just easily outbox the ROM, but now BaRRaCCuDDa has been getting his items picked up online, and he's going to become an impact right now. He's got Ickfile, he has Executioner, he has a lot of penetrations, and if Adapting's going to be jumping into that backline, he needs to be careful.
I mean, he does have the Khepri, but they definitely have to look at BaRRaCCuDDa here. But they also have to be aware that there is a Nuwa, and he's going to do so much damage if you don't focus him as well.
I'm concerned kind of about the... There is some anti-heal on the side of Luminosity, but there's not a whole lot. There's a Brawler's Beat Stick and a Weakening Curse. Do you think the sustain is something they really need to start focusing on? I
mean, the Weakening Curse is a great pickup overall. They need that anti-healing whenever NRG falls back.
I love that from Rafa there, just rolling the stun over his teammates. Mars jumps in, gets 2. Here comes BaRRaCCuDDa, but a great taunt from Dimi prevents the damage coming through to his teammates.
And this is, oh, actually, TP coming in from behind by ScariD, but he was right on top of a ward, so NRG expected this. Rom to the sky, the focus is onto Yammyn, but Yammyn out of range of BaRRaCCuDDa's ultimate. Now LG turning their attention, but ScariD way too deep. He gets picked off. JeffHindla very low, adapting, finds a kill.
The Brutalized picks up Jeff there. Mars forced to run away, BaRRaCCuDDa and Xenotronics as well. Stun there from Adapting, BaRRa in some trouble, Purification, Force, and now NRG looking for the tier 2 tower in the mid. Rafa wants to kill onto BaRRa, plucks him in. There's the Celestial Beam from Yammyn, enough to pick up BaRRaCCuDDa.
And this is going to be a Phoenix. Luminosity used way too much energy focusing Yammyn, trying to run him down. He still had a Khepri so he wouldn't die anyways. They should have backed off way earlier.
And you could see there as well, just that style. You know, Rom did take to the sky early looking for Yammyn, but the coordination wasn't there. BaRRaCCuDDa should have been in the sky much sooner. Mass landed down, got a great knockup, and then just NRG had way too much time to be able to freely retreat.
But even if they got the kill on Yammyn, he still had the Khepri who would revive them, and they would have invested so much time and so many ults into him, so they would have died anyways.
Gold Fury not even being looked at there by NRG on their way back to base. They do have a lot of gold in hand after taking down those towers and those phoenixes.
I'm pretty sure NRG is pretty tired of the last 2 games. It was not as clean as we expected them to be. So right now they're just taking this game and they want to make it clean.
And you know, we might have to see, Xenotronics has done a great job on this new wall, but it hasn't been that effective in this game. I think NRG are doing a much better job of playing around it, where they're not getting baited into small corridors and stacking up for those clay soldiers explosions like we saw last game. Before, they were just diving in way too deep, and Xenotronics was able to get off so much free poke, but this game, it hasn't really been the same case.
Right, I feel like Xenotronics haven't really been able to shine though as well, because they've always been that pick with the Fenrir. He'd be able to go in and then get the Fenrir out and pick someone out.
NRG here looking for JeffHindla. He's only level 12. Stunned in place by adapting and rooted by Dimi as well. No chance there for Jeff as emilitoo picks up the kill. Mask gets a 4-man knock up here, but the healing coming through from Yammyn, and there's no damage here from LG. Dimi actually takes a lot of poke, but heals himself back up.
Look at this sustain. This is absurd from NRG. Not only the raw heals, but Khepri hasn't even used his ult just yet. LG do manage to hold right now, but they're not going to be able to heal up. And LG know this. You see, they're trying to use this Amaterasu movement speed aura, but the second the heal goes down, LG know they lose their chance to take another initiation.
And this is probably another Phoenix right now. If they just push LG back, probably maybe stopping them backing, and then they can actually get the Phoenix.
And this is... I want to go back to what Hughes was saying. A lot of this is the result of emilitoo finally getting the better end of BaRRaCCuDDa. The last 2 games, it's been BaRRa having full control of the dual lane, but this time emilitoo had BaRRa pushed back, and BaRRaCCuDDa wasn't able to make those same rotations.
Right, and I like this call better, just going for the Fire Giant now, having that really big gold lead, and the Fire Giant is going to make it way more easier to get the Phoenixes and get the Titan.
It's about 13,000 gold here at the 25-minute mark. Snowball is the term for it here, really, on the side of NRG.
Right, and it's finally started with adapting, getting the first blood. He got ahead, he got comfortable, and then we see the adapt carry. He's done a great job picking out everybody, especially JeffHindla without the beats. He's had a rough game.
His ult targets have been phenomenal. Just every single time in these team fights, picking off the player that had already burned their purification or doesn't have purification online. And it's just been this very slow, respectable game from them. They're going to pick up the Fire Giant, they get the Gold Fury, they knock a couple towers down, they don't overcommit, they utilize their healing, just very safe game plan.
So NRG obviously with the lead here. How does Luminosity come back into this game?
I mean, at this point, it looks really rough. I think it's going to be NRG doing some mistakes, maybe adapting, going too hard, and Xenotronics getting a lot of damage in with BaRRaCCuDDa. If Luminosity find that one pick, they might be able to turn the fight around and then get the better of NRG.
LG almost need to have, again, a pick early in a fight that forces NRG to not be able to siege as much as they want to do so, and buy basically BaRRaCCuDDa and Xenotronics time to farm up and get some more damage items online. BaRRaCCuDDa working on crit right now.
Right, I feel like it's more NRG to lose this game than Luminosity winning this game at this point. They are so far behind, but they're definitely still in it. The Nuwa is strong. We are in the late game of the state, and he have the penetration online.
He doesn't have a Ratatoskr though, which Yammyn does have on the side of this Ra. So a lot of power coming out of the mid lane of NRG.
Mid Phoenix has respawned. NRG grouped up right now, adapting on the left-hand side, and that's going to be annoying. LG have to look at 2 different directions right now. BaRRaCCuDDa pinned, knocked up, adapting to the back as well. The focus is on to ScaryD. He doesn't have a chance to do anything. Dimi finds Masked as well, and now running away, adapting a 3-man stun, a double kill. Xenotronics takes to the sky. Yammyn finds the 4th. Only Xeno left alive, and NRG is going to go up 2-1.
And finally, we see the adapting we wanted to see. The big carry. This game has been all about the picks, and he definitely did it.
It's just an absolutely incredible performance there out of the jungle of adapting. Same god, totally different play style.
And a lot of it, again, just a more respectable game style. He didn't do anything crazy. He played safe. He played around his team. He put so much investment into ScaryD at the beginning, and you know, I was a little bit worried about that. You know, that he committed way too much, but Mast wasn't able to make an impact elsewhere, which is fine. Mast actually had to always come and counter-initiate to make sure ScaryD got out.
But as we were talking about it, he immediately went to the right side, took advantage of BaRRaCCuDDa being really weak against Fenrir, and just taking that right side down, and then NRG won the game.
We said as well, emilitoo having that much pressure in that lane, basically neutralizing the impact BaRRaCCuDDa could have.
And BaRRaCCuDDa has been so critical for not only Luminosity this tournament, but Luminosity this season. The team has really developed to play around him. I mean, when he was back on Cloud9 last year, BaRRaCCuDDa was just a piece of the puzzle. Now he is the centerpiece of this team. And if he's dealt with and no one else can go off, especially because Mass had a really rough start, I think, to the game, missing a few ultimates, LG just collapsed.
NRG take a 1-game lead in the series. Analysts, take us through it.
Thank you, fellas. All right, so here we are. Currently, NRG up 2-1, 1 game away. And they will be facing off against Obey in the grand finals here at the Smite World Championship. This has been a series thus far. NRG, man, they are showing why they are the defending world champions with that play. Caster's mentioned it before. The Fenrir coming out huge for NRG. But honestly, another thing that I saw was really LG. They overcommitted a lot on some plays, and that really damaged them.
You know, to me, it personally felt like Luminosity, they tried to force the issue a little bit too much. At the 22-minute mark, we saw ScaryD coming from the side. He overextended a little bit, trying to kill Yammyn on the Raw. We saw BaRRaCCuDDa go into the ultimate as well, hitting the snipes. And without those two ultimates and killing the Raw, it was basically NRG coming back with a sustain, which was the key factor to the whole game for them.
They were often playing like they were more ahead, than they were. They were playing like they had the XP and the gold lead, and that BaRRaCCuDDa was 5-0 Jingwei again. They were playing as if they had all of this damage to output, but they didn't have any of the damage to get through this Raw sustain and the Khepri protections.
It was just too much to handle. All of this resilient composition between the Raw, the Khepri, is the key to success for NRG.
Well, that was a tough loss for LG, who are one step away from being eliminated out of this one. Well, guys, while we have you here for a moment, though, we just want to remind everyone back at home, one, thank you so much for tuning in to this event. It has been a monumental day for Smite Esports, but you also can get that juicy Twitch Prime. That's right, folks. You can get a limited edition JT6000 Yanis skin. Seen how awesome Giannis has been throughout this whole tournament. And there's a new event coming up, Path of the Phantom Queen, the Celtic event. So you get all that for free with Twitch Prime. Do so today. And also link your accounts, hi-rezstudios.com/link. You get drops in the chat. I've been seeing everyone spam away. Okay, I saw that filthy spam, but you guys are awesome, and keep on coming by and let people know what's going on here, because we've had some great games.